Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so awesome to be with you. Well, here it is Saturday, and that means time for our Saturday seance. I was sitting here looking at my old spiritualist hymnal. I think I showed this to you guys before. This is a cool book. It's from 1951. And when I was in the spiritualist church, we used to have these in our church. And anyways, I wanted to read to you some interesting stuff. In the front of the spiritualist hymnal, they always have the declaration of principles of spiritualism, and then they have definitions of spiritualism. And I thought I'd read the first three definitions of spiritualism, because a lot of you are new here, and you've been saying, Psychic Bob, we're interested in spiritualism. Can you tell us a little more about that? So I thought we'd read these, and then we're going to have our seance tonight. And so these are definitions from the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. And I'll read this. Point number 1. Spiritualism is the science, philosophy, and religion of continuous life, based upon the demonstrated fact of communication by means of mediumship with those who live in the spirit world. A spiritualist, point number 2, a spiritualist is one who believes as the basis of his or her religion in the communication between this and the spirit world by means of mediumship, and who endeavors to mold his or her character and conduct in accordance with the highest teachings derived from such communion. Number 3. A medium is one whose organism is sensitive to the vibrations from the spirit world, and through whose instrumentality intelligences in that world are able to convey messages and produce the phenomena of spiritualism. So that's taken from the spiritualist hymnal from the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. And I could spend all day talking really a whole class on each point, but I just wanted to touch in on some points for you guys to meditate on. And I think we'll probably in the future do entire videos where I just teach on spiritualism. So we'll have that in future videos, but just some definitions about mediumship and spiritualism for you to think about, okay? Anyways, well, I'm glad you're here, and welcome to our new people. We've had so many new people recently join, and for those of you who are new, this is our weekly Saturday tradition. We gather and have an old-time seance. That's right. When I was in the spiritualist church, we used to go to people's houses on the weekend, and we'd have seance circles. And basically what we do is we have our medium sitting in a chair like I am here, in a good old sturdy wooden chair, and we'd put chairs in a circle around the medium, and we'd gather and we'd have a little seance. And the medium would go into trance and they would channel information from the spirit world. Always amazing, always fascinating. And a lot of you have never had the opportunity to sit in on a seance. So that's why I started this series. So since you're with us virtually, I want you to pull your chairs up in a circle here, gather around, and we're going to have a seance. Now I am what is known as a trance channel or a trance medium. And that means I put myself in a trance state. And during that time, spirits overshadow my mind and my body and my consciousness. They take temporary control of me, and they use my body to manifest and speak through. If you've never seen it, it might seem a little strange, but not to worry. I'm in no pain or discomfort. For me, it's just like napping. I'm just drifting off, and I'm hearing voices sometimes a little bit come through me. But I'm not really connected to what comes through. So at the end, I have to go back and watch the video as well and see what happened. But I'm so glad you're here. So pull up your chairs and let's have a seance. I'm going to bring the lights down here. Let's dim it a little bit. And I just tend to work better in dimmer light. Now, a lot of mediums, it doesn't matter. They work in full light. I'm used to darker environments. I used to also be a physical medium, which I'll do a separate video on that, but I'm used to darker light, so we're going to take the lights down. So I'm going to get comfortable, pull up your chairs, and let's see what the spirit world has. Welcome to our Saturday night seance. Oh, greetings out there. This is Fletcher. Give us just a moment while we get control of the medium's vibration. Oh, there we go. Looks we got a strong channel connected here. Well, I'm so glad to see all of you tonight. We got a few people been wanting to come through and have a little word with you. So I'll be stepping out of the medium's body. I'll see you a little later. This is Fletcher, over and out. When I was a younger man, my teacher always said that the sun never set on the British Empire. These days we could say the same of the spirit world. There is never a day of darkness in the spirit world. The sun never sets in the spirit world. Our realm is a realm of light. When you first come to the spirit world, your major adjustment will be your senses, predominantly your sight. For people who are blind in the earthly realm, the first thing that they discovered upon entering the spirit realm is that their eyesight has been restored. They can see the beautiful light all about them, and for many it is a bit overwhelming. We caution such people to take themselves slow. The spiritual senses are much more sensitive than the earthly vibrational senses. The earthly eyes can handle a brightness but so far, and then it will burn out. The eyes of the spirit body can see far more light in a greater degree, but even so they are more sensitive than the earth eyes in many ways. For many who come first to the spirit world, they are first shocked to discover that they can have all their bodily senses intact. For those who arrive here in a paralyzed state, those who could not walk or had damaged limbs, their body is restored. Those who are in wheelchairs upon the earth find that they enter the spirit world on both feet, standing and walking, or floating in most cases. They are amazed to find that they have mobility, not only mobility, but feeling in their body. For those who arrive here, especially those who have died in the war, many people have found their bodies damaged greatly upon the earth, perhaps their legs blown off or their arms severed. When they first awakened in the spirit world, the first thing they discovered is that their limbs that were damaged are restored to their wholeness. The spirit body is often called the etheric body. It is a clone, an exact replica of the physical body, except it has no imperfections. If you have a scar upon your body upon the earth, it will not be upon your spirit body, unless, that is, of course, you choose not to come to the light. Death is only the separation of the etheric body from the physical body, but it is the transformative process of moving into the light that brings wholeness. This accounts for why when you see ghosts upon the earth, their bodies are often maimed and scarred. Many people will report seeing a ghost with a missing leg or perhaps a head chopped off. These are things that remain in the etheric body in its initial separation from the physical. When people upon the earth, for example, have damage, they lose a limb. Many of them report phantom feeling as if they still have a leg. It is because they have a spirit body leg. But when they first arrive in the spirit world, many times they will carry the original scars, and so they will be without a leg, though they may feel it or sense it. As they move into the light, they are restored in their body. Their etheric body is made whole, and it again resembles their earth body, but their earth body at its finest point and in its perfection. Perhaps some of you are at an age now where you look back and you think, oh, if only I was such and such an age. If you ask why you wish to be this age, it will mostly be because you will say, at that age I had a perfect body, I felt good, I looked good, I was at the prime of my youth. In the spirit world you have the ability to return to the prime of your youth if you should desire. Not everyone does this, but many people do, for they begin to feel in harmony, and they wish that their outer body reflect their inner feeling. This accounts for why many people, when they encounter their relatives who return from the spirit world, they say, my, they looked in so young. I saw them appear. A ghost appeared in my room. It was my grandfather, but instead of being 80, he looked about 35, but I knew it was him. This is because the person that has come to that person has reverted to their finest and most beautiful self. This is the joy of the spirit world, in that the physical self can experience all the good things, and is yet spared of the bad things. Now, it does not mean that the spirit body never has any sense of pain at all, but the pains that exist here are short-lived. For example, if you have great grief in your heart over your death, and you look upon your earthly ones with sorrow and pain, once you come to the spirit world, your mind will be clear. You will understand all things in their context. You will be able to say, yes, now I understand how my relationship with this person is, and I can see my part in the challenges. And there is a sense of calm and understanding that is given to the mind and the heart here. If you grieve over your loved ones, you will not grieve long, for the joy of the spirit world makes you forget your earthly sorrows. Here you will come to understand in full knowledge and understanding and clarity of mind that your time of separation from those you love is but a brief moment in our world. The spirit world and the earth realm have different times. Here is, as they say, a day could be 1,000 years, or 1,000 years a day. This is actually a truth in our world, for all time is now. When you first arrive in the spiritual, you will be very acutely aware that there is no passage of time, that is only the eternal now. This eternal now allows you to have clarity of mind. In the earthly realm, there is the passage of time. One thinks of yesterday, and one thinks of tomorrow, one thinks of the moment. In the spirit world, you only think of the moment. Yet you have absolute clarity and understanding of that which is called the past and that which is called the future. But those in the spirit world do not fret nor fear the passage of time, for they know that they are eternal beings. There is no tomorrow nor yesterday here, and this allows you to focus on you as you are now. There are souls that come over to the spirit world unprepared for this life, and we have to spend a lot of work awakening them. For those who had great disbelief in their life, those who did not have faith, many times they arrive in the spirit world believing themselves in a dream. They argue and say, it cannot be real, I'm still on earth, I'm still dreaming. No matter how we might try to convince them, they refuse to accept their new reality. In these cases, we allow them to go to a spirit hospital where they are given rest, and gradually they are woken again after a long, deep rest, where their mind is calm and centered and clear, and then they can begin to progress to understand the truths of the world that they find themselves in. If you have family and friends who are disbelievers in the realm of spirit, if they mock you for your beliefs, do not fight and toil and convince yourself that you must convert them to the truth of the afterlife. There are many upon the earth today who do not believe in the afterlife, and it is our concern to take care of that. Your job upon the earth at this time is not to preach and be fanatical. You do not win souls by force of hand. You win souls by your love. If you but love people, they will see the light of the Spirit in you, and they will be drawn to that light. And in time, they will come to question their own journey and their own soul. So do not force your agendas and feel that you must convert others to your faith of spiritualism, but to simply be the light for them. People are drawn to the light naturally. When souls cross over, many times they cross through the tunnel. There is a bridge between the earthly realm and the spirit realm. It is a tunnel of light. Many people find themselves entering the tunnel at their earthly death, and they feel a great peace and liberation of being able to float in the tunnel. The tunnel is the transition, the doorway, the path over to our world. And it is meant to allow each soul to come in a way that allows them peace and slowly allows them to awaken to the reality of the new world that they are entering. All the universe is composed of various worlds, and each world has a doorway to our world. And so, as you come over into this world, you may meet other beings who claim to be from other worlds. Many of you have seen beings in your own earthly life, and you have said, I know that there are beings who live in other worlds. If you do not believe it in this life and do not have the opportunity to see it in your earthly existence, know that when you cross over here, it will be revealed to you that these souls are present and that they also are on their own spiritual journey. The evolution of the soul exists over many lifetimes. Many people are surprised upon arriving in the spirit world to discover that there are beings here who they know and who know them. yet they cannot place them in their earthly life. This is because these beings they have known in the pre-existence. Before you come to the earth, you have many friends over here in the spirit world, and they will greet you upon your return. Some of them have even traveled with you in other lifetimes, and so when you return to our world, there will be an awakening, an understanding that life is eternal, that you have lived before, and that there are many people here who are cheering you along your journey. Some of them have come home earlier than you. Some of them have stayed over here in between lifetimes. Either way, you will find that you have a great cloud of witnesses surrounding you. The Bible speaks of this. It says that there's a great cloud of witnesses. I can testify to the reality of this, that it is true that there is life eternal, and all about you are many friends cheering you on. If you are at a place in your earthly existence where you feel alone, you feel there is no one who cares, call out to heaven and say, is there any spirit people who can't help me? And I assure you, you will receive support in abundance. No one goes upon the earth without a spirit team to guide them and protect them. Each of you here tonight have spirit guides that are with you. If you do not know your guide's name, simply make up a name and you will start speaking. If the guide does not like the name, believe me, in time they will correct you and find a way to bring the message away, as you will soon understand it. Many of you called upon me and said, Alfred, help me. I am more than pleased to help you, and you may feel free to call upon me. You see, here our minds are not limited. We do not struggle with the concept of being in multiple places or holding multiple thoughts at one time. Our minds are expansive, and they operate in ways here that are multidimensional, and they operate in a way that is beyond your earthly thinking. In the earth realm, your mind goes in a linear procession, point A to point B to point C, as if you're a clear-minded person. For some, they go the other way, point A to point Z to point C to point B. Either way, it does not matter. There is still a linear progression that limits one in the material world. In our world, you might think of our activities as that of a three-dimensional chessboard. In a one-dimensional chessboard, there are two players sitting opposite, and things are very clear. They exist on one plane. But in the spirit world, it's like a three-dimensional board. There are many levels and different realities that exist on each, and all occur simultaneously. And so if you have trouble understanding how it is that we relate to your world, study the chessboard, the regular chessboard, and then the three-dimensional board, and you will come to have somewhat of an understanding of our interaction with your world. Fletcher says that Rose wishes to speak, so I must step from our medium. My name is Alfred. Greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Oh, such a blessing to be with all of you. Whenever I have the opportunity to listen in to Alfred, oh, I tell you, I'm so inspired and such a blessed person. Over here we have access to all the greatest teachers. You know, I was thinking the other day about my earthly life when I was younger in London. You know, I went to the best of schools. Although at the time I suppose I did not appreciate it. My parents spent a lot of money on my education. Now that I look back, I say, I had the best of teachers. I shall never forget that I had one teacher. She was an English teacher when I was in my high school days. And she taught me about Lord Byron. I used to read the poems and think, what a beautiful writer Lord Byron is. Never did I, even for a million years, ever think that I would encounter Lord Byron. But here I am in the spirit world, and do you know that I have the opportunity to meet many great and famous souls here? And I've even had the good privilege to sit and talk with Lord Byron. And you know, he quoted his poems to me, my very favourite ones. And I tell you, there's nothing quite as nice as hearing your favourite poetry delivered by your favourite poet. You see, the spirit world has all sorts of opportunities, but you don't have to die to come here to receive the blessing. You only have to ask for it. There are many of you here tonight who are receiving messages from our world, and yet you doubt yourself. You say, oh, it can't be from the spirit world, it's all in my mind. But my dear, of course it's in your mind. Where else would it be? Those of us who come into the earth sphere can only work through the mind. So do not discredit your mental musings as simply the clutter of the mind. Oh yes, my dear, I mean, I'm sure there are times when it is the overactive mind. But when the spirit communication comes through, many of you know it, and it's very clear and very precise, and yet you dismiss it. You would do well, my dears, to ask for our guidance and then expect it and wait upon it. So many of you call us. You say, Rose, Alfred, Fletcher, help us. And then when we go to help you, you dismiss our assistance. And you say, oh, it sounded like Rose speaking to me, but it couldn't really be. No way Rose will come to me. Oh, my dears, I come to many of you. And so please listen and do not brush aside our assistance. Our best is for your best. And this is what we wish for. All of you have the potential to be great workers of the light. And someday you will come back to our world and you will be in the light. But do not wait to be a light worker. Take up your lamp now and charge forward. There are many dark places on the earth where many people have lost hope and lost faith. Some of you could be a great light. You could do visits to the elderly in nursing homes. Some of you could go and help the poor. Some of you are called to minister to those in prison. Throughout the earth there are various people in various circumstances, and not all of them very joyful, to be honest. But your presence, your light that you bring, is the very light of the spirit world. Try to remember, my dears, that all of you are filled with an eternal soul, and that eternal soul will bring joy to all who encounter it. If you but raise your vibration even just a little bit, my dears, we'd be so very pleased to come down and to commune with you. So allow us to come close, call upon us. But my dears, please do not dismiss us as imaginations. We are truly present for you, and we await the opportunity to be of service. Some of you this very week have called and said, Rose, help me. And you've heard my whisper in your ear, or you've felt my guiding touch, pushing you along the path to move forward. If you're standing on the edge thinking, if I take one more step, I shall plunge to my death, don't step forward with ignorance, step forward with the spirit world. Not only can we keep you from falling from a cliff, we can also set you on the path that leads to success. In the earthly realm there are many paths, but not all of them are always successful. For one to achieve success in this life, it truly is a combination of your higher self working with your higher spirit guides. Each of you have a guide, you're not alone. And as Alfred said, if you don't have your name of your guide, assign him a name. Oh, and believe me, they will tell you correct quickly if you've got the wrong name, my dears. Well, I shan't be staying long. Our medium's power is a bit weak here. Fletcher says I cannot tax him. But I send you my greetings and my joy, and I thank all of you for receiving me this evening. Fletcher says the power is starting to fade, but before I totally fade away, let me tell each of you, I love you very, very much, and I'm very truly pleased to be with all of you. Remember to call upon me. You can say, Rose, come and help me, and I will be there for you. Oh, the power's going, and so I feel myself going also, and I love you all, my Rose. Hey, Tubies. It's Psychic Bob. Well, I'm back with you, and I tell you, I love to channel because no matter how tired I am, whether I'm in mood or out of the good mood, either way, I feel good when I channel. There's something about connecting to that spirit world, and I feel them enter me, and it just opens up something. So I feel really good. I just want to say thank you for being here. If you've enjoyed tonight's seance, you might want to pop over to my website and check out my book, Messages from Rose. This tells about my work as a channel, as a medium, and about my work with Rose, my spirit guide. While we're also over there, we have Ouija Mysteries. Last week we had a Ouija board seance. If you didn't see that, check out last week's video, last week's seance video. And this is a book about my work with the Ouija board. That's also at my website. And you can also get Psyche Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom. So whatever strikes your fancy, I'm sure we've got a book over there at my website. And definitely check it out. I'm going to put the link in the info box below to my website where you can get these books, okay? Well, guys, listen, thank you for being here. You guys are best. I love you. I hope you'll keep it here at Spirit Channel. Tomorrow we got a special show. We're going to do our live broadcast, 8 p.m. tomorrow, the Witching Hour. So I hope you're with us here. Gather. We're going to talk about all things Wiccan. Going to be Lord Tony, Lady Angela, and me. And we're going to be having a roundtable discussion. We're going to talk about the mysteries of Wicca. And so if you've been wanting to learn more about Wicca, you want to learn about the order that we belong to, the Order of the Purple Cord, come on out. Come check it out. Learn what we're about. We'd sure love you to be there. So I hope you'll be there. Well, guys, listen. I'm going to wrap it up here. But I'll see you back here tomorrow for the Witching Hour. And in the meantime, help me out. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends. Hit subscribe, be part of our channel. I love you guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And until then, may you always blessed be.